Oke, selamat sore. Kita bertemu lagi di pembelajaran PMI ACP. Pada saat ini kita akan membahas terkait domain 3 stakeholder engagement. Oke, domain 3 stakeholder engagement ada beberapa topik, yaitu taking care of stakeholders, establishing shared visions, communicating with stakeholders, working collaboratively, terus using critical interpersonal skills. Oke, summary-nya, key topiknya terkait active listening, agile chartering, agile modeling, assessing and incorporating community and stakeholder value, brainstorming, collaboration games, communication management, face-to-face, social media, two-way, trustworthy, conversation-driven, terus konflik. Kita lanjut lagi. Topiknya active listening, agile chartering, agile modeling, assessing and incorporating community and stakeholder value, terus brainstorming, collaboration games, communication management, face-to-face, social media, two-way, trustworthy, conversation-driven, conflict resolution, level of conflict, definition of done, emotional intelligence, facilitation, information radiators, knowledge sharing atau written communication, negotiation, terus participatory decision model, convergent, share collaboration, decision spectrum, first of 5 voting, simple voting, thumbs up, down, sideways, personas, stakeholder management, stewardship, wireframe, workshops, task, engage, empower business stakeholders, share information frequently with all stakeholders, form working agreement for participation, assess organizational change, to maintain stakeholder engagement, use collaborative decision making and conflict resolution, establish a shared vision to align stakeholders, maintain a shared understanding of success, provide transparency for better decisions, balance certainty and adaptability for better planning. Okay, taking care of stakeholder. Stakeholder, as defined in PM Book Guide, are any people of group who will be impacted by or have an impact on the project, includes the customer, sponsor, and business representative, as well as the project leader, development team, vendor, and other people inside or other outside of the organization who will be affected by the project or its result, including the product and users. Getting stakeholders involved, in other words, engaging them in the project is essential for the success of any project. Okay, identify all the stakeholder, educating stakeholder about agile, keeping stakeholder engaged, terus incorporating stakeholder value, principles of stakeholder engagement. Oke, jadi pertama identify, terus juga educating ya, stakeholder about agile tuh keeping stakeholder engaged, tetap di ini, incorporating stakeholder value, oke, terus juga principle of stakeholder engagement, oke. Jadi all the stakeholder, sponsor, user, and functionals matter easy to identify, auditor, upstream providers of project input of or downstream customer of project output, triggers to identify. Okay, terus educating stakeholder about agile, if the project stakeholder are tadi ini ya, identify kan, setelah identify, educating stakeholder agile, if the project stakeholder are new to agile methods, they may need some basic education about how agile project operate. This education should include the goals, value, practice, and benefit of the agile approach to help them for understanding why the project will be executed in this manner. Educating stakeholders about agile, recognize some of the concerns executive and project sponsors. Executive and sponsors are often concerned about the risk of failure due to use unprecedented practice and counterintuitive planning approach, even though an agile approach actually provides better feedback loops for preventing failure. Managers may face a loss of controls or erosion of their role when project assume an agile approach. Oke, eksekutif itu are often concerned about the risk of failure due to use of unprecedented practice and counterintuitive planning approach, even though an agile approach actually provide better loops for preventing failure. Okay. Terus juga managers may fear a loss of control of erosion of their role when project assume an agile approach. The development team may resist agile method if they feel that this new approach is being forced upon them by management. The user community is often worried they will not get all features they want to or require, or that the early iteration will result in poor quality deliverables. Supporting groups, other groups may be concerned about an apparent lack of control, continual requests for their involvement, or the lack of a clear endpoint. Oke, jadi ada development team, itu juga ini kan stakeholdernya ya, tentang agile kan eksekutif, ini risk failure kan, terus juga ini feedback, oke kalau manager, loss of control of urgent, their role when project is agile approach, oke development team, dia mungkin akan resist ya terhadap metode dia akan itu terhadap ini akan walaupun itu dipaksakan oleh manajemen kan, user community itu akan worry buat dia tidak akan mendapatkan feature seperti yang keinginan mereka pada early dan pure quality developer gitu kan takutnya kan. Oke, supporting group, other group may be concerned about the parent of lack of control, continual requested for their involvement and the lack of clear endpoint. Ini takut tak jelas gitu ya. Keeping stakeholder engaged, continue engage them in the project as it progress. Terus juga one benefit of short duration is that they prevent stakeholder from losing interest in the process. One key reason to keep stakeholder engaged is to ensure we will hear about change requests as soon as possible, and ongoing dialogue of them will also help us identify potential risk, defect, and issues. One point to keep in mind when engaging stakeholders in project event is that not all stakeholders can be handled in the same way. Okay, another aspect of stakeholder stewardship is establishing a process for escalating issue that need a high level of authority to resolve. Okay, incorporating stakeholder value. Agile methods emphasize incorporating the sponsor and users priorities into the project execution. Incorporating stakeholder value means making sure we do not plan or initiate work that the stakeholders don't support or value at this time. The most important way to that agile incorporate stakeholders value into a project is by engaging the product owner in the prioritization of the backlog. Another way to incorporate stakeholder value and interest into the project activity is to invite stakeholder to planning, meeting, and retrospective. At the end of the day, it is the customers and sponsor who will determine whether our project is a success or a failure. So it is smart to plan our work and action according to their value. Okay, can pursue second engagement, get direct stakeholders, cement stakeholder development, actively manage stakeholder interests, frequently discuss what done looks like, show progress and capabilities, candidly discuss estimates and prediction. Establishing a shared vision. Okay, establishing a shared vision ada agile chartering, definition of done, agile modeling, wireframes, and personas. Agile chartering, the project charter is one of the first document produced for a project. It describes the project's goal, purpose, composition, and approach, and it provides authorization from the sponsor for the project to proceed. Agile charters can range from very lightweight worksheet and barely expanded vision statement to detailed documents. Okay, non-agile charter, high level, gain agreement about the project's W5H, attribute, wow, what, where, when, why, and how. Okay, for W1H ya. 5Y and 1H. Okay, Y5H. W5 and W5H. Okay, obtain the authority proceed. Focus what will be built. Focus how the project will be run, what will be built, agile charter ya. Kalau yang agile charter itu ya fokus how the project will be run. Okay, dan agile chartering will typically ensure a subset to all of the following W5H question: who will be engaged, a list of the project participant and involved stakeholder, what is this project about, a high-level description of the project vision, mission, goals, and objective, where will it occur, details of work site, deployment requirement, terus when will it start and end, the project start and target end dates. Okay, terus the business rationale for the project, why is it being undertaken, the business rationale for the project, how will it be undertaken, a description of the approach. This is particularly important if agile methods are new to the organization or if change from the standard approach as the increase of involvement of the customer need to be explained. Okay, here's the further. How it will tell a description of the approach. This is particularly important if the methods are new to the organization or if change from standard approach such as the increase of involvement of customer to be explained. Okay, agile chartering, target customer, need opportunity or problem, product service name is project category, key behavior, reason why, unlikely from the competitive alternative, primarily differentiation, for project manager who want to become agile project leader, learning lead agile, team class 3-day course, text participant, through comprehensive agile development life cycle, incorporating real case studies and hands-on exercise, agile course from a generic training organization, only use instruction with hands-on agile project experience to ensure that they can answer all your questions, and our supplementary material include valuable tools, case study, and cheat sheets. For project manager who want to become agile project leaders, the learning to lead agile team class is a 3-day course that take participants through a comprehensive agile development life cycle, incorporating real case study and hands-on exercise, unlike the agile course from generic training organization. Um, we only use instructor with hands-on agile project experience, ya. Okay, to ensure they can answer all your questions. Unlike agile course from generic training organization, we only use instructor with hands-on agile project experience to ensure they can answer all your questions, and our supplementary material include valuable tools, case study, and cheat sheets. Definition of done. Okay, definition of done. Definition of done is creating a shared definition of done is crucial for satisfying our stakeholder expectation. A shared definition of done is necessary at every level of agile project, including user story. For this story, done will mean developed, documented, and user accepted the test, acceptance test. Yeah, release. The first release will be deemed done by when system alpha is replaced. Yeah, for this recommended user test. Release the first release will then when system alpha is replaced and there are no priority one defect or change request. final project deliverable done for the project will mean high and medium priority features are implemented and are 2 months of trouble-free operation, and the project achieves satisfaction scores of greater than 70% from the user community. Agile modeling. Data agile modeling refers to the various modeling techniques that are commonly used on agile projects. While models are important in agile methods, their main value often lies in the discussion and creating of the model rather than the final output. As a reflection of this, agile models are often sketched on whiteboards and then photographed as a means of recording them. The type of agile models that can be created with agile modeling include use case diagrams, data models, screen designs. Okay, agile modeling, sample use case diagram, sample data model. Okay, enroll in university, register in a seminar, search for seminars. Okay, sample data model students, course enrollment. Okay, student number, agile modeling. Okay, scope William Emler semester. Oke, Mark. Oke, jawaban sampel screen design seperti ini ya. Sampel screen design, add draft, description, close. Oke, middle, your rotation, seminar. Wireframe are popular way of creating a quick mock-up of a product. For example, in software development, wireframe detect individual movies, online basic ordering for flow. Movies online, okay, movies online, and film. Ini wireframe ya. Getting a quick mock-up of the property sampai the individual. So, okay, full screen, back to the library. Person a quick glance or reminders of the key stakeholder on the project and their interest. Personal should provide an archetypal description of users, be grounded in reality, be goal-oriented, specific and relevant, be tangible and actionable, generate focus. Ya, seperti ini contohnya personal name Bob, description Bob love movie out of Red Siren 5 movie week. Okay, his two children. So Bob 5 has different movie tastes that both of them value. Bob value like to be able to order movie from comfort of his home. He would like to be able to start movie by title. Then he will less there's knowing. He is looking forward to unlimited movies, so his children can watch show multiple times without having to pay additional fees. He will also appreciate a recommended feature to help him and his wife choose movies. Okay, personas. Yeah. Communicating with stakeholder. Communicating with stakeholder is critical for agile stakeholder to communicate frequently to ensure that everyone is on the same page and keep up to date. Since many project failures uh, can be tracked back to a failure of communication. Agile communication ada yang face to face, two way communication. Jadi it is critical for agile stakeholder to communicate frequently to ensure that everyone is on the same page and keep up to date since many project failures can be tracked back to a failure of communication. Agile communication, face to face, two-way communication, knowledge sharing, information radiators, social media. Oke, face to face. Nah, ini dia agile communication. Face to face encounter have the highest bandwidth of all form of communication. They transfer the most information in a given period of time. Unlike static method communication, written report, they provide interactively in real time. Effectiveness of different communication channel. Yeah, face-to-face required, but very effective for instant messaging, mobility, video recording, email, audio recording, paper. Face-to-face encounter have the highest bandwidth of communication. They transfer uh, face-to-face encounter have the highest bandwidth of all form of communication. They transfer the most important. I mean, uh, determine the most important in given period of time. Yeah, face-to-face encounter have the highest bandwidth of all form of communication. Uh, Transfer the most different in given period of time. Then have the highest bandwidth of form of communication. They travel face-to-face. Okay, they travel in given period of time. Unlike static method communication such as written record, they provide opportunity for interactive in real time. Oke, ini lebih efektif. Kedua, instant messaging, kalau ini video recording, email, audio recording. Oke, no, and observability, question, uh, that's what answer political routine and no question of probability. Bahwa ini richness temperatur ya. Two-way communication, two-way communication. Two-way communication, oke nanti kita betul dulu. Two-way communication. Two-way communication. Two-way transfer of impression, for example, when discussing the goals of the sprint, the product owner or representative should not only ask the development team for the confirmation ideas, but have to listen to what they have to say when take it into consideration. There is good chance that the team member have valuable information that can be accessed in any other way. Okay, dispatching model, collaborative model, and should not ask the development team, but they have to say and take it into account. Okay, now sharing is a key component of agile method. Agile project aim to share information and make available to everyone. So, make what to consume it rather than what it for our jobs or because our project stature. It's big better to share information that to hold it because the more people who know about something, yeah, that we will know will have can have to get stuck. Information is structure of the team. It immediately increases the risk of taking a hit team to team productivity if the one person with key knowledge leave the team. Okay, agile practice promote knowledge sharing. Agile practice promote knowledge sharing. Agile knowledge sharing happens at main level in both obvious and subtle ways. The agile emphasis on collaborative agile planning, estimating, and retrospective allow everyone on the team to be exposed to key project information instead of just funneling it through one or two people. Oh, jadi ini dia. Jadi awalnya itu test driven development, ada refactoring, ada pair programming, simple design. Jadi kalau ada hubungannya itu dari yang paling kecil itu adalah ini di mana ini adalah facilitate knowledge sharing, share code knowledge, knowledge implement to enhance agility and understanding. Baru ke lingkaran yang lebih besar, yaitu ada code standar, facilitate knowledge sharing juga, sustainable pace, metaphor, create a shared vision of the system to promote comprehension, to continuous integration, CI, constantly validate the increment against the requirement to learn of differences. Baru ada collective code ownership, share knowledge of code with all developers. Baru code standar ya, sharing. Baru yang lebih besar lagi ada whole team, whole team sits together for better communication. Ada planning games, do planning collaboratively with all stakeholders to better share the plan and definition of done. Oke, itu small release, ada keep expectation on track and information batch manageable via small batch. Baru customer test, encourage frequent interaction with the customer to better learn what done means. But the whole team sit together for better communication, planning game to planning collaborate with all stakeholders to better share the plan and definition of done on playing games. Oke, ini promote knowledge sharing ya. Oke, information radiator. Nah, ini dia kayak dashboard. High visible display of information, including large charts, graph, and summaries of project data. These tools sometimes refer to as visual controls are usually displayed in high traffic area to maximize exposure where they can quickly inform stakeholders about the project status. The sort of data that might be displayed on an information editor includes the feature delivered to that versus the feature remaining to be delivered, who is working on what, the feature selected for the current iteration, velocity and defect metrics, terus retrospective finding, list of threats and issues, story map, sama bullet charts. Oke, social media, oke, ini mungkin collaboratively. Okay, benefit of collaboration, it generate lesser decision through the understanding of complex cross-boundary problem via shared information, promotes problem solving rather than procedural decision making, fosters action by mobilizing shared resources to get work done, build social capital by building after action by mobilizing, promote problem solving rather than procedural decision making. Okay, foster action for by mobilizing share resources to get work done, build social capital by building relationship and understanding, foster ownership to collective problem by following participation and shifting forward. Okay, green zone, red zone. Okay, how much support for there is for collaboration. A person to green zone takes responsibility for the circumstance of his or her life, seeks to respond non-defensively, is not easily threatened psychologically, attempt to build mutual success, seeks solution rather than blame, use persuasion rather than force, can be firm but not rigid about his or her interests, thinks both short-term and long-term, is interested in other point of view, welcome feedback, see conflict as a natural part of the human condition, terus talk calmly and directly about the difficult issues. Kalau yang Z red zone itu yaitu blame other for situation for his or her life, respond defensively, feels threatened or wrong, triggers defensively in other, does not let go or forgive, use shame, blame, and accusation, is black, white, right, wrong in thinking, focus on short-term advantage and gains, feel victimized by different point of view, does not seek or value feedback, sees conflict as a battle and seeks to win or at any cost. Is rigid, reactive, and reckless. Perbedaan people in green zone and red zone. Workshop are meeting in which the participant get work done. Retrospective are in a form of workshop as are estimating session and planning session. Workshop should have clear goals and schedule that is visible to everyone. Okay, how make workshop more effective? Diverse group reflect a wider range of viewpoints than just a few experts to prevent dominant individual and extrovert from monopolizing the discussion. The facilitator can use technique such as going round robin style around the group or generating idea on sticky notes. Start with an activity that gets everyone participating within the first 5 minutes. Oke, itu dia. User story workshop, also known as story writing workshop, are the preferred mechanism for gathering candidate user story and starting the process of refining them into well-formed stories. One benefit of this workshop workshop is that is often turns out that workflow can be optimized. Engage the key stakeholder in the design process. Then brainstorming. Brainstorming is a collaborative technique in which group tries to rapidly generate a lot of ideas about a problem or issue. And depending on the method of brainstorming being used, the participants are asked to write down or spontaneously call out potential suggestions to help solve the problem. To ensure a creative flow of ideas, it's important to record all the suggestions and not judge or make fun of any of the solutions proposed. There are no stupid ideas. We will sort through the ideas later. Okay. Brainstorming method ada quiet writing, round robin, free all for all. Quiet writing given 5 to 7 minutes to generate a list of ideas individually. Group gather to share their idea. This approach minimizes the effect of peer influence because the stakeholder generate the idea in solution. Then the generate the idea in isolation, yeah, before they are uh, before they share them. Round robin, people take turn by passing a token around the group. When a participant receives a token, he or she will suggest an idea and then passing and then when participant receives a token, he or she will suggest and then pass the token to the next person. This method has an advantage allowing ideas to build on its order. However, people must be comfortable sharing their idea. The method has to fathomable the idea to build each other. However, people must be comfortable sharing their ideas in work of each other for it is for it to of each people must be comfortable sharing their ideas in front of each uh, other for it to work. Okay, free for all. Free for all, people just shoot or out their idea spontaneously. This method can be collaborative as people build and each other is suggestion group discussion, but it can only work in sportive environment. And even with a sportive environment, the quieter team member may not be heard or may not feel as if they have an equal opportunity to participate. Okay, collaborative games. Remember the future. This is a vision setting and frequent execution exercise for the product tree. This as a stakeholder gather and shape requirements. Speedboat. Customer goal is for the exercise is to identify the opportunities for the project by a feature. This is project exercise. By for bug. This exercise is looks. This exercise. Yeah, bring Pemina is a exercise when or back visitor looks at value versus cost rankings. Okay, remember the feature. Remember the feature kan. Ya, jadi ini ya contohnya. As for the stakeholder to imagine that an upcoming release or iteration has been successfully completed. They are asked to look back and describe what happened to allow the iteration or release to be successful. Ini dia contohnya. Infrastructure feature, my movie, rent movie, movie suggest, browse review, add review, create database, create website, website content infrastructure, additional feature, add new member, build customer, contact detail, business structure, team train, movie download, visi approval, Alexa traffic, ya. Prune the product tree. Okay, this group exercise engage this participant in brainstorming a product feature and functionality. Nah, ini contohnya product tree-nya. Create website, website content, create database, Firefox, Safari, add new member, contact detail, new member, referral, build customer, load database, yang ini movie browse, review, movie suggest, free preview, thread, movie free, click through ads, Speedboat aka Spellboat. The Speedboat game, which is also called Sailboat, start with the feature that end user stories identified in the prune the product tree game. It focuses on gathering keys that pose threats to the project as well as potential opportunities. Pilot group feedback, framework hit start, pre-order, lose team member, MySQL performance, pure velocity, team building, regulatory change, competitor X. Ini dia. Okay, using critical interpersonal skill, emotional intelligence, active listening, facilitation, negotiation, conflict resolution, participatory decision making. Emotional intelligence is our ability to identify, access, and influence the emotions of ourselves, other individuals, and groups. As an agile leader, coach, or manager, we need to be able to identify when team members are stuck, frustrated, or upset in order to help them. Once we are able to recognize when people need help, we can use social skills such as the ability to influence, inspire, lead, and develop others to help them get unstuck, do their job, their work, and collaborative with each other. Quadrant of emotional intelligence: self-management, self-control, consciousness, adaptability, drive, and motivation. Self-awareness, self-confidence, emotional self-awareness, accurate self-aware assessment. Okay, social skills, influence, inspirational leadership, developing others, teamwork, and collaborations, social awareness, empathy, personal awareness, understanding the environment, recognize, regulate other self. Quadrant of emotional intelligence. Active listening. Listening is hearing that someone is really trying to convey rather than just the meaning of the word they are speaking. Active listening is a skill that can be improved with practice. Listening level 1, internal listening, thinking about how things will affect me. Level 2, focus listening, trying to understand what the speaker is really trying to say. Level 3, global listening, keep track of not only what has been said but also different signs and gesture the speakers employ to convey uh, the full message. Okay. Level 1, listening, sebagai focus listening. Level 3, global listening. Right. Facilitation, effective meeting and workshop. When facilitating a meeting or session or when you encounter such question on the exam, keep the following in mind: goals, rules, timing, and assisting. Okay, negotiation. Negotiation happens throughout an agile project, especially when discussing the requirement or priorities or a feature and what done should look like. Negotiating on agile project should be an opportunity to each viewpoint to be fully described, noting the pros and cons of the different options. The negotiations are most effective when the interaction between participants are positive and There is some room for give and take on each sides, and deal, discussion, negotiation skill, agreement, business compromise. Conflict resolution. Conflict is an inevitable part of the project work. Whenever people come together to solve problem, there will a difference of opinion and competing interests. Creating an environment in which people can use conflict constructively is a key part of successful engaging stakeholder and project. To ensure the conflict does not escalate beyond healthy expectation and friendly teaching or will end up with a negative and repressive project environment. Maybe. Conflict resolution. There are five states of conflict in order of like to serve problem to solve, problem occur, express, presented, discriminate, everyone tries to reflect their own interests, interest people being taking and at SQ ASB station. Who said people in conflict will make over generalization in judgment, just about the problem, but also about the persons. Hmm. Are problem is not unresolvable, other one side will survive. It is as feasible to try to resolve conflict early in the states of the consensus with with effective resolution in this. But for the open dialogue, okay, it is feasible to try to resolve conflict early. There are five topics in order to like to solve a problem to solve problem occur or it is presented. Yes, agreement ada yang juga yang tidak disebut has to protect their own interest. Others political begin tracking sides, you administration, crusade people in conflict will make infantilization, adjustment, or not just about the problem but also the person. Quite the problem is now unresolvable. Either one side will survive. It is advisable to try to resolve conflict early in the steps to its engages with effective for resolution strategy. Concentrating upon dialogue, everyone is able to voice on their opinion within the problem resolution to create win solution. Collaboration, working together to reach mutually agreeable solution. Oke, jadi ya itu. Oke, part 3. Participatory decision making, engaging the participant in decision making. The speed at which we have decision and group level agreement to decision. Okay, decision making, yeah, engaging the participant in decision making process, the speed at which we make decision, and the group of level of agreement which decision will impact both the performance of the project and the operation of the team. Participatory decision models, simple voting, jadi bisa thumbs up, down side watch, first of five voting. People vote by showing the number of fingers that indicates their degree of support. High Smith spectrum, uh, the members input how they feel about decision making. Steve, this is another because you take my responsibility to offer to mix feeling softly, participatory making, important. Okay,